YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. LaValley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. M.J. Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families.
Twins Ryder and Jagger Lovely are both looking like that they could be, stars for this Newport football team. Both running backs. There's clearly a run-first offense. A lot of speed on this team, despite their butt whooping in week 1, 49-6, I believe it was, against Lebanon. Lebanon put it to them. A lot of people seem to think it's a fluke and that they can, come back and rebound.
And for the Stevens Cardinals, obviously getting the win last year in the day game. We're back here at night where they've had some success. They love to play on Friday nights under the lights. They got the win last week. What should we watch for from the Cardinals?
Well, the Cardinals, Keegan McAllister is absolutely a stud at running back. He's, probably going to be tough for Newport to stop tonight. Alex Taylor's the receiver. Great combination between those two. Just a lot of talent.
Between the Newport Tigers and the Stevens Cardinals on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, and welcome to our Facebook Live audience. Thanks for joining us. We come to you from Barnes Park here in Claremont on a beautiful fall evening. And Scott, we talked about it in the pregame. Newport tough outing last week, tough start. They lose to Lebanon, and Stevens with the win. So both these teams going in opposite directions, but it's a rivalry, and you never know what can happen.
Anything can happen, and past history shows it's pretty even between these two teams. 10 years ago, Newport was on a huge run, but recent history shows that anything can happen in this rivalry, and both teams are definitely hungry.
And the opening kickoff returned by number 32, Darshawn Chesser, and he's going to bring it back all the way to almost midfield. They're going to spot it at the 46-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over on first down.
Great starting position to start your game off.
Yeah, broke the tackle after kind of a short kick. He broke one tackle and was able to get to the 46, and that's where they will start with the orange pants, white tops, and Stevens in the black and red as traditional.
Let's get ready to see a lot of running from the lovely twins here. Ryder and Jagger are pretty much a big part of this Newport offense.
And the first is a pitch to Jagger Lovely. He goes off to the right side around the corner, gains a couple yards, and they'll spot that ball at the 48, bring up second down and 2. And as we mentioned in the pregame and just there, that will be a focal point of the Newport offense, and it's been for a number of years. They've always had a strong offensive line, and we talked to Coach Paul Silva before the game, and he mentioned that no matter what the records are, no matter what the score is, this Newport program is going to come to play. They've got a good offensive line and a strong running game. And,
a lot of speed.
Yeah, a lot of speed and a lot of good talent. Sometimes that doesn't manifest itself out, but a good program with a lot of continuity. First-year coach John Proper, who was an assistant coach last year under Coach Dennis Borsick. That handoff up the middle, the draw to number 25, Josh Sharon, and he's going to break free into the secondary, almost into the red zone. He'll be dragged out of bounds and a first down for the Tigers.
Great game there. We talk about the lovely twins, but we can't forget about Josh Sharon. This is a run-heavy offense for Newport. They've always been a run-heavy school, and they got a lot of talent in the backfield.
So that'll bring up a first down and 10. Ball was actually pushed out at the 25. No yard markers on the field for the Cardinals, so we're just at the mercy of the numbers on the outer edges, and that's going to be a QB keeper off to the left side is Marius Edwards, and that is snuffed out nicely by Alex Taylor, and that will be a loss of a couple, bring up second down.
Yeah, good defensive play there. They set the edge and crashed and got him in the backfield. Loss of what, 3?
Yeah, they're going to spot that at about the 27, so it looks like it'll be about second down and 12. Clock moving here, 10:30 to play in the first quarter. Like we said last week, Tigers losing to Lebanon, and Lebanon, this is only their second year in Division III. They had been a Division II powerhouse, but after some turnover on the roster, they moved down to Division III. They beat Newport a couple times in 2 seasons. That inside handoff is stopped, and then bouncing to the outside is Josh Sharon. He gets around the corner and is brought down, but not before another first down.
Great job for Sharon there. I mean, that play was stopped in the backfield. He kicked it out. He was patient. He didn't really force the play and bounced to the outside, and he had a big opening. Got a big run.
So it'll bring up first down. They can still get another first down. That ball looks to be at about the 13, 14 yard line. I'm going to say it's on the 13, so first down and 10. Under center, Edwards. He'll be there most of the night. Double running backs, and the handoff to the second one. Jagger Lovely moving the pile, and another little gain.
No surprise here. Run. This is Newport Claremont. They're very physical against each other. Huge rivals. I expect a dirty, grinded out kind of game today.
And like we saw last week, we had done the Brattleboro, for those of you who are able to check that out, Brattleboro and Windsor, and Windsor started off a little slow running the ball, and that's the one thing that you fear in high school football. If you're too run dependent and run heavy, that can be stopped. But clearly, so far on this drive, no one has been able to stop the Tigers.
Historically, I'm from Newport, as you know. Historically, they have always been a very run-dependent offense. Sometimes it works certain years, some years it doesn't. So far this drive, it's looking like it's working. Yeah. Last week, it looks like it didn't work based on the score. So,
and it always starts with the offensive line.
Absolutely. You got to get that push. It depends also on the play calling on defense, how aggressive they get. If you want to stack the box and dare them to throw, which I personally would against a team like Newport. But, it's hit and miss.
And in the early season, the schemes aren't quite there yet, so only the second game for both teams. So we'll see what they come up with here. Third down and a couple. The pitch to the left side.
Good block.
And running to the outside to the corner, and he's in for the touchdown, number 32. And that's Darshawn Chesser with the touchdown.
Let's go!
Can't see who that was with the block. I think it was number 25, Josh Sharon, setting the edge.
So a 5-yard touchdown run for number 32, Chesser.
Could have been Jagger Lovely. It's tough being blind, Jeremy.
Need to get a spotter up here.
Right?
So, nice drive down the field. They start with the ball at about the 45-yard line, and the extra point is up and good. So
not just good, it's going off power lines and bouncing off fences. He pounded that thing.
Blasted it through. So a nice opening drive with 8:20 to play here in the first quarter from Claremont, New Hampshire. It's the Tigers leading the Cardinals 7-0 on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, fresh off a Newport Tigers touchdown. And they go up 7-0 after the extra point. That is their first points in a couple of years against the Stevens team. Last year getting shut out 19-0 at home.
Impressive drive, too. I mean, it was
very impressive.
It was run. I mean, they didn't throw a single pass that drive. They just pounded the ball and, forcefully applied their will and just kind of dominated there.
So a little short kick there is picked up by the Cardinals' number 33 on the return. That's going to be Pascal Lemieux, and he returns it back to the 45. And once again, good starting position for an offense. Cardinals will get our first look at their offense.
Yeah, so they're starting at the 45 here. I mean, that's not a successful squib kick by any means. You want to get the ball down the field further than that. I mean, you might as well kick the ball out of bounds if you're going to give it to them at the 45.
That's a fair point. So Cardinals will start their offense with 8:15 to play in the first quarter. In the backfield in the shotgun will be Owen Taylor as the junior quarterback, 6 foot 175, motion man Lemieux. And a left-handed quarterback is hit as he throws, but completed to number 24, Keegan McAllister, who rumbles over the 50-yard line, and it'll be a first down.
Good heads-up play there by Keegan McAllister. I mean, that play was immediately broken. Owen Taylor was getting a hit as soon as the ball got to him. Newport with a great pass rush. Very fortunate that wasn't picked off and maybe even returned for a touchdown.
Yeah, right off the break. Nobody even blocked the defender. He had the edge and got to the quarterback, but you said a nice heads-up play by McAllister. So the Stevens Cardinals see if they can keep it going here. Man in motion, number 24, McAllister. He'll take the fake handoff, and Taylor keeps it himself. Nice breakaway to the left side, around the corner. McAllister, and that was Taylor all the way to the corner, not quite into the red zone. See where they spotted. It might have just fallen over the 20.
Great play fake to McAllister there. The Newport defense all bit, and the left side of the field was wide open, and we just saw Taylor cruise down the sideline, basically uncontested, and got a huge gain for Claremont.
That ball is spotted outside the red zone at the 22-yard line after a big gainer, 20-plus yards from Taylor. So we've seen him in the shotgun a couple of snaps. I believe that's where we're going to see most of the action from the shotgun. His man goes in motion, Lucas Mudge. That pass to a wide-open Alex Taylor, and he's carrying a couple defenders, and he's down inside the 5-yard line.
Little Taylor-to-Taylor action there. Nice throw. Good route there. He ran a little slant on the inside, and you know, he wasn't not covered, but he was sharp enough to get the inside angle and kind of position himself in a spot where the defender had no shot and reeled it in.
And a nice pass there from Owen Taylor. So now you got to imagine the entire playbook open here. First and goal from the 4 as we approach 7 minutes to play in quarter number 1. A little false start.
Yep. That's going to move them back a bit. They were in a very heavy formation there. Clearly looking to run. I mean, they were ready to pound the ball up the middle, I think.
And I think it might have even was going to be a sneak because
it could have been.
What you saw, now of course technically they can't get a false start on the quarterback, but I think if you could have, it would have been because he kind of took a step anticipating the snap count, and then he made the lineman jump.
Sure.
So I believe that's what they were going to do. So we'll see what they do here now. First and goal from the 9.
Remaining in the heavy formation.
And this time the handoff up the middle. Falls forward for a few yards.
Looks like Keegan McAllister on the run. Well, second and goal here. It's about where it was a play ago.
Yeah, they gained a handful of yards back. Second down and 5. Some successful plays for the Stevens Cardinals to get them into this position. But as we know, the red zone, sometimes it's tough to score as you get closer and closer. The field shrinks. So the pitch to McAllister. He goes up the middle, and he's in for the touchdown.
It didn't shrink enough for that play. Nice run right up the middle. Great blocking. He had a big hole there.
So another 5-yard touchdown run. Both scores have been 5-yard touchdown runs. That one's number 24, McAllister, and extra point pending to see if Cardinals can tie this one up. So after a nice, impressive opening drive for the Tigers, Cardinals answer right back with their own 55-yard scoring drive.
Yeah, very impressive. I mean, they showed the ability to air the ball out a little bit more than Newport did, but still a very ground-heavy attack. McAllister's going to be a focal point.
And that one's not going to work out. Newport picks up the fumble, and it's going to be no good on the conversion, so that's how we'll leave it here. 7-6, Cardinals trailing the Tigers, 6:13 to play. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Ramontos in Claremont. Always fresh, always delicious. In addition to airing on our 3 TV stations, All YCN games are posted at YCNnow.com. So, Scott, we talked about it. Big rival game, both these offenses. And it looked like in mid-season form after those first two drives.
Yeah, just watching the return here. It was a little squib kick. It was,
and then fumble by Chesser.
It wasn't handled cleanly to begin with, and he picked it up and tried to scramble to the right side, and it looks like he fumbled the ball.
So Chesser mishandled the original, the kickoff, but then he gained control and he was halfway across the field, and then something happened and he fumbled it. So that's going to be Stevens football, I believe, is the call as Taylor comes out here, and big break for the Cardinals.
Big break indeed. I mean, it's going to put them in prime field position here, and back to what you were saying about the rivalry. Both teams are coming out hot. It's an exciting game so far, and I would expect nothing less.
And McAllister takes the first handoff back up the middle, and a nice gain for the Cardinals. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. Our YCN game next week features Middlebury visiting Hartford, always premiering Sundays at noon. We'll be back in the Green Mountain State. Done a couple games in Vermont. Now New Hampshire, they always open up a week later, so we always get a little bit more heavy on the Vermont side, and this New Hampshire game has already opened up as a good one. Second down and 5. Handoff again to McAllister. And he's brought down by the ankles close to the first down. Not sure where they'll spot it.
You can tell who the Stevens Cardinals want to carry the load on offense. It's clearly McAllister. They keep feeding him the ball, and it's been pretty successful so far. It looks like they're going to give him a first down. So
yeah, that was a success. First down and 10. Ball spotted at the 15-yard line. If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch our YCN shows and games anytime on our website at YCNnow.com. Handoff up the middle, the off-tempo there, change of pace to Pascal Lemieux. He'll go for a handful of yards before he's dragged down.
Another good run for Lemieux. I mean, Claremont's not doing anything fancy here. They're just kind of pounding the ball at the middle and saying, Newport, stop us. And so far, Newport hasn't been able to do so. I mean, that's a solid 4-yard gain on first down. You can't argue with that. I mean, that's what you want on first down.
And Alex Taylor, we know he can throw the ball, so if you're Newport in the defense, you can't overcommit. You can't sell out for the run, because we've seen Taylor. One was a little bit lucky on the almost sack, but he had another nice ball. So we'll see what he does here under center. He's going to keep it and throw it out.
He's got a man wide
open into the left flat, and number 34 is on the other end of that reception, Hunter Christian. And he's tackled before he gets into the end zone.
It looked like he might have had an angle. He was a little hesitant. He didn't turn around and go right off. Great play, though. It looks like, is there a flag on the play?
Looks like there may be a flag on the play right in the middle of the field, not anywhere near the ball carrier or in the backfield, but it's going to be...
Looks like a holding type of penalty based on where the flag's sitting. So.
And an illegal block is what the ref just signaled, so that's going to go against the Cardinals, negate that play, or at least still march the penalty yardage off from where the penalty was.
Tough to get called for an illegal block in there with a play to the outside like that. A bit of a strange call. I didn't exactly see the penalty, but whatever it was, it certainly would be unnecessary.
Right, because it didn't look like it was during the play.
No.
We were watching the play and didn't see any flags get thrown, so kind of a...
unfortunate break for sure.
Yeah, but that's going to push them back, and that'll go back to about 14-yard line maybe. And that'll bring up second down and 8. 4:07 to play in the first quarter. Taylor in the shotgun, and he's going to keep it himself. A lot of white and orange jerseys swarming Taylor. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
So that was definitely an option play. He could have given away to McAllister there. He decided not to. In my opinion, I don't think it mattered there. Newport had either one of them dead to rights.
They had the penetration. They got Taylor, and they'll just basically go back to the line of scrimmage where it will bring up third down. Clock moving here as we approach 3:30 to play. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, YCN Game of the Week, the annual Chambers Cup, Newport Stevens. Taylor in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, and he's going to throw it. Has a man, does hold on to it, is Alex Taylor. Almost dropped it, but as he came down, he regained control, and that'll bring up fourth down.
It's a good pass by the lefty, Owen Taylor. Put it in there well. Like I said, it was bobbled, but the route was just run a little short of the first down sticks, and it looks like, they'll probably go for it here, but I'd like to see that get run
right
past the sticks.
You want to get a run past the sticks, but sometimes on that slant, you go underneath instead of going up top, and he chose that route.
The linebackers certainly can affect it too, because you got to make sure you got to get under the linebackers in order to make the play. You can't get behind them. So, Newport might have done a nice job there on defense, playing sort of a zone, forcing the slant underneath.
So a timeout by the Cardinals. They want to think it over on fourth down and 2 from the 7-yard line with 2:48. We'll take a timeout as well. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, Taylor under center, and he's going to get a snap to McAllister, the direct snap off tackle. And it's not going to be into the end zone, but it will be enough for a first down. They had everyone fooled on that play, but luckily Newport was able to snuff it out before it got into the end zone.
Very quick play there, coming out of the timeout, very nicely designed. It's a miracle he didn't get into the end zone as close as they are, but that's a good play call by the coach.
Now you've got every play available, first down and goal from the 2. And the snap's going to go again to McAllister. Looked like the same exact play, and Newport was having none of that as they were all over it. One of the tacklers, I believe, in there, Josh Sharon, Jagger Lovely might have been in on the tackle. So, and of course, all of the Newport defensive line.
I mean, they keep it on the ground there to McAllister, which is what they've been doing, trying to pound it up the middle. I think right now is a great time for a nice play-action pass. We saw one earlier in the drive. It fell a little short of the end zone right before the penalty, but I think they can catch Newport on their heels here.
Well, and you've got 3 tries because it's clearly 4-down territory.
Absolutely.
From the 3-yard line. So you give it a pass play here and see what happens. And Taylor, he's under center again. Handoff to the first running back, number 33. That's Pascal Lemieux, and he is stuffed for a loss of yards, and they keep going backwards.
We saw a nice run from Lemieux earlier, but Newport here at the goal line, they clearly have their goal line defense in. They're shutting down the run. They're making that their priority. They're saying, Claremont, you have to pass the ball if you want to score a touchdown.
And with that small field, of course, they're at the 4-yard line. They've only got 14 yards to work with, so you can't get too tricky on the offensive side, and you just have to be a little bit more creative than what Stevens has done so far. See if they can come up with something. Inside a minute to play here in quarter number 1, and another direct snap off to the right side is McAllister. He's hit by 2 defenders, and where's the ball? I don't know if it got popped loose on the jarring hit. And
yeah, that ball was knocked loose. Let's see what the refs call here on the fumble. Have they made a decision yet?
I think they're going to stay with the Stevens Cardinals because I would have thought they would have given us some sort of signal.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, that would help out us broadcasters up here. But
so now with 4th down and goal, ball is still at the 1-yard line. McAllister almost got in. He was hit by 1 defender, then the second defender came behind him and knocked the ball, what it looked like knocked the ball loose. And so on 4th and goal from the 1, they are going to let the clock run out to end the first quarter. So an exciting first quarter here in Claremont. Tigers lead the Cardinals 7-6. YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. LaValley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Bramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, second quarter about to begin, and it's going to be a battle at the goal line. 4th down and 1 for the Cardinals. They've been stopped a couple plays. See if they can get one in here. To McAllister, he's pushing the line forward, moving the pile, and he looks like he gets in, and the signal is touchdown Cardinals.
Nothing sexy there. It was just a QB sneak. Everybody piled in behind him and pushed. It was basically a rugby scrum up in there, and they moved the pile. Good job by Stevens to overpower the Newport defense and put that one in the end zone.
So McAllister gets his second touchdown of the game, and that puts the host Cardinals back on top, or on top for the first time tonight, 12-7. Exciting one so far.
It looks like Stevens is not super confident in their kicking game, so they're going to go for 2 again here, which could be interesting with Newport making the extra point.
And then the nice stop there in the backfield. They snapped it directly to McAllister again. And Coach Silva is going to have to figure out that play because the defense has really figured that play out. I think it's a good trick play, but you can't use it too often. Maybe come back to it later, but that's going to be thrown out for the rest of this half.
I would not go back to that anytime soon, and certainly special teams advantage Newport so far. They had a great kick return earlier, and they hit the extra point like they should, and we've seen 2 failed 2-point conversions now for Stevens. So advantage there for Newport. We'll see how that plays into the final score of this one.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Mascoma Savings Bank, mutually owned with no shareholders to please. If you want your local game, event, parade, or concert televised into YCN's over 300,000 households, contact us at info@ycnnow.com. So the Stevens Cardinals taking advantage of the short field after the fumbled kickoff return by the Tigers, and then after getting stopped, they were finally able to punch it in on 4th down, and they go up 12-7.
Thank you for pointing out the fumbled kickoff return after I talked about how good Newport's special teams was doing.
And the kick return, that one's from the 18-yard line. Shedding a tackler is the Newport ball carrier. That's Chesser. And he cuts back to the middle of the field. A nice return there, and that'll bring up 1st down. They get it to 42-yard line maybe is where they'll be spotting the ball, and that's where the Tigers will take over. So a successful kickoff return there.
Darshawn Chesser made me look a little better there.
Yeah, he did have the fumble on that previous kickoff return, but he held on to that one and returned it nicely there. A nice 23-yard return, picking it up at the 19.
I mean, he's had a couple nice returns. I mean, his first return was very good.
Nice.
Aside from the fumble there that slipped my brain, so they've been very good on special teams. So
Newport will take over, and 1st down pitch is almost snuffed out, but the nice shake and bake from Jagger Lovely, number 26, is able to fend off one defender and gets across the 45-yard line.
It almost looked like there was a slight face mask there, but it was let go quickly, and the refs let it go. That was in the backfield. Nice job by the running back to stay focused and get some positive yardage.
Nice 5-yard gain. Ball spotted at the 47 of the Tigers. 2nd down and 5. 11:05 to play before halftime. This handoff goes back up the middle, and a nice 3-yard gain, but that's going to bring up 3rd down, and the ball carrier, number 25, Josh Sharon, the junior running back, 5'9", 155, gets 2.
Simple fullback draw there. Nothing fancy. It's a power play. 3rd and 2, 3rd and short. Newport is in position to get 1st down, and I think that's what they were playing for with that play call.
Right at midfield is the ball, spotted right here on the right hash mark, just in front of us. And whistle here on the field.
Timeout Newport.
Yeah, and Newport is going to take a timeout, so we'll step aside as well. 10:22 to play in the second quarter with the Cardinals leading the Tigers 12-7 on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. 10:22 to play. Newport out of the timeout after talking this one over, third and short. One man in the backfield, and it's going to be a QB keeper. Edwards is going to keep it, pushes the pile. He'll get the easy first down. Nice design out of the timeout, Coach Proper, and a good run there by the quarterback.
Oh, they saw Claremont do it on the other end. This is a little gutsy, 3rd and 2. I mean, that was a long 2. You don't see a lot of QB sneaks from that distance. That was a straight-up QB sneak, but the offensive line, the running backs, they all pushed, and Newport moved the pile and got the first down.
So they'll spot the ball at the 46 of the Cardinals, where it will be first down, as you mentioned. Clock moving here, just inside 10 minutes. Both teams have tried to move the ball nicely on their opening drives. Newport, this is really their second drive as they fumbled the kickoff, and a nice pitch there, and the run, number 26, Jagger Lovely. Can't quite get to the outside, but a nice gain of 6 yards or so. And
nice gain
keeping
indeed.
it moving.
Good cut, but there was some good blocking there with the offensive line. Claremont, or Stevens, I should say, had a pretty big hole in the back. They had a pretty big run rush, is what I'm trying to say.
Leaving some lanes open.
They were in the backfield quickly. They did leave some lanes open because Newport's offensive line made them open. That was good job by their offensive line.
Now Newport will set up second down and about 4, it looks like. Little jump by the Cardinals' defensive line. I don't think anyone drew them off. Looks like it should be an offsides.
That's what I would say. I didn't see anybody for Newport move at all until Claremont, the entire defense, jumped basically at the same time. You wonder on that situation if the center's playing with the ball. Maybe it's a hard count. Who knows?
It will be an offside penalty, and that should be enough to move the chains, and it will. So it'll bring up first down for the Tigers. Ball just on the other side of the 35-yard line, not quite to the 34. Bring up first down and 10. Once again, we have Edwards under center, 2 running backs behind him, and he'll hand it off up the middle again. Newport continuing to just run it between the tackles. If they find something, they'll bounce it outside, but they're content to get 4 or 5 yards at a time.
If you can pound a fullback draw up the middle for 5 yards every time, keep pounding the ball up the middle for 5 yards every time to your fullback. I mean, it's as simple as that. Make Claremont stop that. I don't think we've seen a pass yet for Newport, and their offense is still moving the ball. They haven't had to. So, make Claremont stop you and keep doing what works.
The 5-yard gain is what's working now as 2nd and 5. The handoff coming around on the end around. Flag flies from a ways back, and Chesser's not able to get out of the backfield. We'll see what the penalty flag is. I imagine a holding penalty somewhere?
I would assume so. I'm curious to see what the flag is, but either way, the handoff there was quite sloppy and kind of slowed the play down in the backfield.
Yep.
Gave Stevens a huge advantage to stop that play.
It was kind of like a end-around sweep type movement, but it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't very crisp, very clean. It was a little slow to develop.
If the ball's put in the wrong spot in that situation, it's better to take your time rather than fumbling it, and it's going to be a big negative play, but at least you still have the ball here, and you still have a chance to fight another day. So
the penalty was on the Tigers, but it will be declined, so the Cardinals would rather waste the down than give them the chance to get the yardage back with an extra down, so it'll bring up third down and a long 9 yards there at about the 34.
Because Newport is all run so far, I disagree with that call. I say send it back another 10 yards. Make them get that huge distance, but we'll see.
And the inside handoff there goes to number 7, Bryce Willie, and he's able to gain almost enough to get the first down. Got all the yardage from the last play back, and it'll bring up 4th down and short.
See, that's the thing now. It's 4th and short. Newport's going to obviously go for it here, and they have a chance. had that play happen 10 yards back, it's 3rd and 12 still.
Right.
And they got to get 2 more successful plays. I think by declining that penalty, it set Stevens back a little bit.
Stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. We will choose the team member that had the greatest impact on today's game. So 4th down, and penalty flag flies, delay of game. That's going to be against the Tigers, and that'll bring them back 5 yards. And now 4th and 8.
That's just a shame after a nice play. You get it to 4th and short, you're going to go for it, and now you got 4th and long. Not a good penalty at all.
So now 4th and 8, and this is the type of situation where they'll probably go for it because they are quite a ways into opponent's territory, but that 8 yards is a lot more difficult to pick up than 3.
Well, they haven't passed the ball yet, but now they're almost in a situation where you have to. I would assume because it's Newport and they're so run heavy, they're going to do so, but we'll see.
And this one is going to be a pass, dropping back and finding the receiver is Bryce Willie, but he's not able to hold on to it. So that'll be a turnover on downs, and the Cardinals will get the ball back.
I'm not sure if the pass was enough for the 1st down. It was there on his hands, and he couldn't reel it in. Nice throw, but that penalty again, not false start, the delay of game is just killer for that Newport drive.
The YCN scoreboard sponsor is LaValley Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Our next YCN game pits the Tigers of Middlebury, hosted by the Hurricanes of Hartford. That will be an exciting game next week. Hartford always a good contender. And the Cardinals taking over here with a drop back on 1st down. Taylor throws it incomplete.
Yeah, good coverage there. He didn't really have anybody to throw to. The pass was significantly underthrown, but I think he might have maybe just been throwing that one away, playing it safe.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 on the 31-yard line. Inside 7 minutes to play here in the quarter. That was a Newport drive that stalled out after their opening drive went a nice 55 yards for the touchdown. They fumbled the kickoff, and then that was their 3rd drive, turning it over on downs. The Cardinals, on the other hand, have scored touchdowns on both of their drives. One of them was the short field, aided by the fumble. And there's Taylor dropping back. Immediate pressure. He's able to get rid of it. It looked like that was a screenplay set up. Caught by number 25, Lucas Mudge, and then he is immediately tackled. Gains maybe a couple yards.
It looked like a fairly nicely designed screen. The entire offensive line ran right by it, but the linebackers for Newport were smart enough to sniff it out and made the play. If they weren't paying attention, if they fall back in coverage, that could be a huge gain for Stevens.
So you were right there when that defensive line broke free. Linebackers read it. Hey, here's the screen, and they really held their ground. Looks like about a 3-yard gain. Bring up 3rd and 7. And Taylor in the shotgun. A couple of throws this drive so far. He's going to keep it and throw it again. Pressure coming from both sides. He evades 2 tacklers and scrambling to the right side. And it's completed to Alex Taylor. After all of that scrambling, they get the completion, but not quite enough. It's back maybe to that line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 4th and long.
Yeah, I actually think they lost yardage there. It was probably smarter to just throw that one away. But there's pressure every time they pass from Newport's defense. They are getting in the backfield in a hurry. Stevens, credit to them, they're trying to mix it up and throw a little bit. But, if there's 2-3 guys in the backfield every time they drop back, it's not sustainable, and you got to keep it on the ground here. We'll see if this line can hold up a little bit better.
So 3 and out there for the Cardinals, and we'll see them punt for the first time. And that is going to be kicked away nicely. High punt. Fair catch is called for, but then he lets it drop, and it'll go to about the 30-yard line where the Tigers will take over with 5:37 to play before halftime. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, Newport Tigers with a 1st down, and the inside handoff draw. A little counter, it looked like. Not going to go for much. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, which is the 25 45, I believe. No, where is the original line of scrimmage? At the 30, excuse me.
Those numbers on the field really help us broadcasters, don't they, Jeremy?
A little far from us. We'll get our binoculars out next time we come here, but always a nice time coming here. They got the little stage set up for us. Athletic Director Doug Beaupre, very hospitable. And it's always fun to come here for the Chamber Cup. Shotgun snap, and this time quarterback Edwards will keep it himself, cutting back across the grain, and he's able to get all the way up to the 45-yard line before he's finally tackled, and that's going to be a first down for the Tigers.
And that's all on Edwards right there. There's, it was clearly a design run from the get-go. There was nobody running routes. It was a quarterback basically sweep to the outside. The play was blown up to the right. He kind of ad-libbed and cut all the way back to the left side and found room. Nice run there.
So that'll bring up first down and 10 from the 45 with a timeout on the field, 4:37 to play. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. After the timeout, first down and 10 for the Tigers, and the handoff on the inside, and the Tigers get nowhere on that one. Cardinals had that one sniffed right out.
Yeah, not much of a chance on that one. Stevens was, they had a great push on their defensive line there and got in the backfield. They kind of overpowered Newport's offensive line. It's going to happen here if Newport doesn't start mixing their plays up. Obviously, that sweep, that QB sweep, I felt like Stevens kind of sniffed it out.
They did, and then he just reversed course, and he was
absolutely unbelievable
athletically
play.
Yeah.
So we'll see here. I'm curious to see where Newport goes with their offensive play calling from here.
2nd and 11. Once again, under center, two running backs behind him. This time the pitch goes to Sharon, cuts it to the outside, might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, picking up maybe a yard, maybe half a yard. Either way, that's going to bring up 3rd and long.
I'm not sure what the number was on the tackle there, but whoever that kid was shot the angle perfectly and was just dead to rights on the play and stopped that thing. Sniffed it out great. Great play.
That'll be at the 44-yard line. They need to get all the way to the 45 of the Cardinals. So 11 yards to go here on 3rd down. And the pitch to the right side, trying to stretch the play, now cut back. Making a couple tacklers miss, but he's going to be wrapped up, maybe getting to the 50-yard line. That was number 24, Ryder Lovely. Haven't seen him carry the ball too much tonight, and his carry there gets to the 49. That'll be well short of a first down, but you still might go for it. We'll see what they do here.
We'll see what Newport does. If I'm Newport, I'm punting the ball here and trying to pin the ball back deep. It's a close game. I don't think it's worth taking the chance, and it looks like that is what they're going to do.
So Edwards, the quarterback, also appears to be the punter. As you would imagine, they will be punting it. Stevens looks a little confused. They're not sure if it's a punt or if it's a play. And now you see the Stevens return man, Lucas Mudge, go back.
We got a timeout here.
Yeah, the Stevens Cardinals didn't want to. No, it was a timeout by the Tigers. I thought for sure it would have been the.
Yeah, interesting timeout by the Tigers. I mean, Stevens clearly looked a little confused there. They didn't have anybody back, so if it was truly a punt play, you got nobody back to return it. You're going to get the ball pinned back there pretty deep. Perhaps they did call a straight-up fake.
Right.
And got absolutely scared by the way Stevens lined up.
Yep.
You know, that could absolutely be the case. So.
Yeah, because Marius Edwards, who's the quarterback, it looked like he was also the punter, so that was the problem that number 25, Lucas Mudge, was having. He wasn't sure if he should drop back as a punt returner or come up and play some sort of safety, and then it looked like the coaches on the sidelines were waving Mudge to go back to coverage, and then all of a sudden the timeout was called, so you figured, okay, well, Stevens calling a timeout, get set up, but it was on Newport. And
well, I mean, that's the tricky thing when you got your QB punting the ball as well. I mean, he's lined up as a punter here, but you can do anything. Your options are wide open. But again, the Newport thing, like, they must have not had an option. Like, you'd think they'd call two plays.
Right.
If they line up a certain way, you punt. If they line up a certain way, you pass.
So after all that, the punt is away. A nice high punt lets us return
Great
his
kick.
coverage team get down there. The return man is able to get nothing, and Cardinals will take over. 2:13 to play in the second quarter. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, Stevens Cardinals taking over with the 12-7 lead, and the handoff up the middle. There's about 4 white jerseys in on that tackle, maybe at the line of scrimmage, maybe half a yard behind.
Yeah, I didn't get much there. Stevens has been mixing it up here offensively, but like I mentioned earlier, the pressure in the backfield is very overwhelming so far for the quarterback, Owen Taylor. So I feel like they're probably going to slow it down and be a bit more conservative, just try to keep them alive.
Do you think they're content here inside 2 minutes, a long field, to just maybe run some plays, maybe catch lightning in a bottle, and if not, oh well?
I think their goal here is to make sure Newport doesn't get the ball back and get any more points. If they, like you said, if they catch there's a pass play there that stops the clock, so.
I know, right? Just when we're talking, maybe just run the ball. It's Taylor to Taylor, incomplete.
I mean, you don't have huge punts in high school, so if they do have to punt, Newport's going to get the ball back in great field possession here, and we got 3rd and long.
Plus, you're at your own 15-yard line, so you've got the goal line, you've got some end zone. Not huge worry, but.
I was about to say, I would run the clock down and make sure Newport doesn't get it back, but Stevens surprised me.
1:26 to play here. 3rd down and 10. See what happens here. I got to imagine you got to keep it on the ground. And a penalty flag, delay of game on the Cardinals, moving back 5 more yards.
This is not well executed here by Stevens. I mean, at this point, you just call a draw play, kill as much clock, or make Newport take a timeout. Do they have what are the timeouts?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have one timeout left.
They might have one timeout left, but regardless, you have to just do a draw play, a run play here. You can't let the clock stop. Newport is going to get the ball back around midfield at the worst. Not well executed here at the end of the half by Stevens.
3rd down, and this play will be a run play. They're going to stretch it out to the outside, but not able to get to the corner before he's brought down by the Tiger defender, and that'll bring up 4th down, and they're going to be punting.
He didn't go. He got out of bounds there, right? His clock stops at 1:14. Another mistake here by Stevens at the end of the half.
No, they called the timeout. He did
Newport
go in.
He did
stay in bounds.
Okay.
Because Newport just had a timeout, so I'm guessing that they wouldn't have used it if there was a time if the clock was stopped.
I would hope not.
So that'll be our final stoppage here before the punt, and then Newport taking over with a chance to take the lead going into the locker room. Could be exciting. Yeah,
I mean, it's been a good game, good battle back and forth. Neither team's really one-upped the other one. I mean, it's very ground-dependent. Both have been fairly successful. You've seen a couple of rugby scrums where it sneaks and stuff, just the pile moving. The offensive lines are doing a great job in the run game. There hasn't been much passing attack so far. Claremont, a.k.a. Stevens, the Stevens Cardinals have tried it a few times, but the blocking has not been there for that.
Right. The quarterback play has been decent on the passing. It's just the blocking doesn't seem like it's been.
Yeah, there's no issue with the quarterback's throwing abilities so far that I've seen. It's just you got to have time to throw the ball. You got to let your receivers get open.
So the punt is away, a short punt, and it's going to take a Newport bounce, and it looks like it was touched at the 30-yard line. Finally, it's blown dead, but they will say Stevens touched it, and the ball goes even closer to the Newport goal line, and that's going to be a 1st down at maybe the 27-yard line. So really, this half couldn't have gone much worse for the Cardinals.
No, that was a terrible ending here to this half. But here's an interesting scenario. Newport's got the ball at, like you said, the 30-yard line with 1:05 left. They've used up all their timeouts. They've been run. They're in a situation where if they run the ball, it's going to kill the clock. They might have to start airing it out here a bit.
That'll be 1st down at the 27, and they are going to pass it, dropping back to pass, firing deep into double coverage, and the touchdown flag on the play, but Bryce Willie comes down with the ball.
I mean, I didn't see too much contact, whether I would say it's offensive or defensive.
Didn't really see any contact.
No,
it looked like the receiver split the defense.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to call maybe on the Stevens Cardinals. I can't imagine that's offensive.
I can't either.
And it's going to be holding.
All right.
On the defense. So a touchdown there, 27-yarder from Edwards to Willie. And just like that, the Tigers go back on top with 59 seconds to play.
And that's just the exclamation mark on the half for Stevens. Like, they had this game in control. They should be going to halftime leading the football game. It just didn't execute down the stretch and gave Newport a chance. And here they are on top, going to halftime. Up 1 now, possibly more.
And the way the Cardinals kicking game has been non-existent, so they've had to go for 2 a couple times, and that hasn't been successful. Now the Tigers, with their second touchdown, looking to maybe go up for the 2-point conversion and go up 3 points. They got a field goal game going into the locker room, and the handoff, no, it's going to be a fake, drops back, has a man in the corner, but he's a little overthrown.
Along with it.
And with 59 seconds to go, we will take a break, 13-12. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Hey, local sports fans, 94.5 ESPN's Franklin and House Sports Talk Show can be seen on YCN's WYCX Outside Television, midnight every weekday. Tune in daily and get up to date on what's happening in sports. Tigers kick off deep and a nice bounce to stay in bounds. It'll be a touchback, and the Cardinals will take over now. 59 seconds to go, trailing by 1.
Yep, beautiful.
What do they do here?
Beautiful kickoff there. I mean, touchback, you don't get that a lot in high school football. It was, it landed short of the end zone, took a nice Newport bounce. I feel like Stevens, at this point, they kind of just have to play conservative and kill clock. You can't take too many chances. Maybe you just run the ball and hope something big breaks. But, again, you're not going to take a shot and risk a turnover and give the ball back to Newport.
Well, and you get the ball coming out of the locker room after kicking off to start the game, so you'll get the ball if you're the Cardinals. So there's another reason they don't really need to get too aggressive here if they don't feel like it, and they will line up in the shotgun. Taylor has the man in motion. He's going to throw it. They're going to go deep, try and get something, and high points the ball is Alex Taylor, and they're going to say incomplete. Good effort, though.
He nearly came down with it. I mean, the coverage was there, but just as you said, Alex Taylor high-pointing the ball, he couldn't have done it any better. Just couldn't come down with it. Good effort, though.
So that'll bring up second down. Only 8 seconds, and now you have to worry about, once again, that clock running down or not running down, and you can't possibly give the ball back to the Tigers if you're the Cardinals. I mean, you just can't.
They don't have the greatest punting game. I mean, they're not, kicking the ball too far down the field. So if you get to fourth down, you got to punt. Newport could have a shot toward the end zone here at the end. So I'd kill the clock.
And the fumble ball is loose, and the Tigers jump on it.
Claremont is not executing at all here at the end of this half.
That's Blake McKinney, the senior linebacker, just said, look what I found. Fell on the football, nobody around him. I don't know if it kicked off a lineman or the shoe of the quarterback, but the ball was past the line of scrimmage, and McKinney was the only player there.
Obviously a bad snap. Newport with no timeouts here with 48.3. I mean, let's see if they're aggressive again. The pass worked last time. Why not take 4 more shots here?
Right.
I would not hesitate to take 4 shots toward the end zone.
So Edwards in the shotgun. Low snap, but he's able to corral it. He's got a man, but he looks like the man was, and the throw is intercepted. And it looks like that one will be run back out of the end zone by Owen Taylor. And turn of events there. He had his man, but then he overthrew the man. He was held up in traffic, and then the ball just stayed too long in the air.
Yeah, the receiver never broke free. The quarterback was just anticipating that he did, I think, and let it go way too early. There was nobody there other than the Stevens Cardinals. If I'm Stevens here, just take a knee and get out of this half. There's too much crazy stuff happening here in the last minute.
Right, yeah, there's too much craziness, and sometimes that can be a good thing, sometimes it can be a bad thing, and if you're the Cardinals, I think you just say, hey, we got lucky once.
Yeah.
Let's not push our luck here. And as we see Taylor under center, and it looks like that's going to do it. He'll take a knee. He'll probably have to have one more snap. I'm not sure the play clock in high school football.
You should probably know that.
They don't even have one on the field, so nobody knows it.
They don't.
And it looks like the offense is walking off the field, the defense as well. So that is going to do it for the first half. An exciting one, back and forth. Couple of lead changes, and we go into the locker room with the Tigers leading this one 13-12 for our Facebook Live audience. We will take a break and come back in the second half, and we'll come back with some halftime stats and analysis on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Halftime here in Claremont, where the Stevens Cardinals trail the Newport Tigers 13-12. Scott Quimby, Jeremy Stout, and Scott, that first half, exciting first half. Newport getting out of the gate early. Stevens answering, going back ahead, and now the Newport Tigers with a sloppy finish by the Cardinals to end that half, but a good half overall.
Let's forget about the last minute of that half. Overall, I mean, it's a rivalry game, and we had an absolutely outstanding game up until that last minute. The last minute, things got a little wonky. There were some bad penalties, some turnovers, but ultimately it was a good half other than that.
So let's go through some of the scoring, obviously, to start off. Like I said, the Newport Tigers take the lead. A nice little run by Chesser, number 32 for Newport, and then it's the Cardinals coming back and answering with a couple scores.
Well, Chesser, Newport in general was super run-heavy there, specifically to start the game. They moved the ball well on the ground. They were getting decent plays, not really big chunk plays, a lot of 5-6 yard gains, but that's all you need sometimes to move the football. And back to the Cardinals, McAllister was unbelievable. He was, clearly their offensive weapon here. Scored both touchdowns for them, and so far, in my opinion, is the player of the game. But to the end of the half there,
right,
Newport.
Yeah.
Very nice job by Edwards. He had a heck of a throw to Wiley there, and we'll see if they can do more of that. But it was a
good first half.
It was a good first half. It was fun.
Right, a lot of fun, a little sloppy, but a good first half. So those are a little bit of the stats. We'll take a break and come back with a halftime highlight package right after this on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Let's take a look at a couple highlights from the first half. And those are your highlights for the first half of the Chamber Cup between the Cardinals and the Tigers. Let's take a break. We'll come back with second half kickoff on the YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. LaValley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region B&A and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Out of the halftime break, Tigers will be kicking it off as we let the final few seconds tick off the clock. Teams are ready and in place. And Scott, what do you expect in this second half? We were talking about it a little bit, both very evenly matched, different strengths and different facets of the game.
I mean, I don't expect much different than what we've seen. I think it's going to be a close finish. Yeah, like I was saying to you earlier, during the half, Stevens seems to have more specialty weapons, quarterback, receiver, running back, etc. But Newport's line play, I mean, they just seem to be overpowering Stevens. So it's kind of neutralizing things, and we got a very even matchup. It's a coin toss. I don't know. I'll say that. I don't know.
Well, and we'll see if those missed extra points or two-point conversions come back to hurt the Stevens Cardinals. We did wonder why Newport may be going for two when the kicker had been so good. But so we'll see. Those little things can come up in these close games, which we haven't quite had one yet this year. But this one has so far has the makings of it as the Tigers kick it away to start the half, and a little squib kick that doesn't get too far, picked up by Alex Taylor, and he returns it about 10 yards back to the 40-yard line.
Nice, smart play there by Taylor. He saved him a good 15 yards there. But back to your point about the end of the half with the extra point, Stevens hasn't even attempted a field goal, extra point, nothing. It doesn't look like they're confident in that part of their game. Newport's up now 1 point because they went for two. So if Stevens scores a touchdown here and gets a two-point conversion, Newport would have to kick the extra point to tie. So I would just think Newport, based on the perfection of their first extra point, would get that guaranteed point, go up two, and even if Stevens at that point kicks a two-point conversion, Newport can win the game with a touchdown.
So we'll see if any of that math comes into play in this second half. Taylor dropping back, and it's tipped by a defender, and then Alex Taylor almost corrals the deflected pass, but it falls incomplete, and will bring up second down.
Better protection there for Owen Taylor. I mean, he did have a pocket to throw. He wasn't getting hit when he threw. It was just good coverage on Newport's side.
Go, Black. Come on, fellas. Come on.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Ramontos in Claremont. Always fresh, always delicious. In addition to airing on our 3 TV stations, all YCN games are posted at ycnnow.com. Second down and 10. Man in motion. And the handoff to McAllister, and he breaks free past the sticks, and he rumbles, carries a couple defenders across the 50 to about the 43-yard line and a first down.
First of all, I mean, great run by McAllister. Absolutely. But what happened in the backfield is what made that play. There was a very good fake. Newport clearly bit on everything. Then they did the draw to McAllister after the fake. Wide open in the middle of the field. He had a huge running lane, and Newport didn't have a chance there.
So the big gainer on second down brings up first and 10 from the 43-yard line. Another man in motion. Taylor in the shotgun. He'll keep it himself this time. Another rush by the Tigers, but Taylor finds his man, and then it's dropped as the defender comes upon the would-be receiver, and that's going to fall incomplete. I believe that was number 25, Lucas Mudge.
Newport's clearly bringing heat every play. Run, pass, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They're going to say, we're going to make you beat us downfield. We don't think you can. and they're challenging Stevens right now.
So looking to break up the play in the backfield. They've had some success. It just feels, though, that the Cardinals might be just on the verge of breaking one of those big plays as we see more rush from the edge come there. And here's Taylor on the screen pass, and he breaks free, drags a couple of defenders. A good 7 or 8 yard rush there, reception there.
Yeah, a screen play, similar to what we saw earlier. I mean, the pressure was there instantly, obviously. That's because the offensive lineman let the defensive line come through. Unfortunately for Stevens, I mean, Newport's just been great covering the screens on the couple of examples we've seen. If you're Stevens, with the way Newport's blitzing them, that's how you beat the blitz,
right,
with screenplays. Newport is just doubling down. They're blitzing, and then they're covering the screen on top of it. It's, impressive defensive play calling here.
So 3rd and 2, 3 men in the backfield behind the quarterback, and the handoff to the running back number 33, and that one's Pascal Lemieux. He falls forward just enough for the first down, and a couple of good plays put together here. Cardinals up to the 32-yard line, moving the ball in the first minute and a half of the second half.
So that was their strength in the first half, was running the football. They had some nice pass plays, sure, but just straight handoffs, draws in the middle, nothing too cute, nothing too fancy. We'll see if they try to go back to that after, some weird plays here to start the half.
Taylor's got 4 wides. One man goes in motion, so he's got trips on the left side. He's going to look that way, all day, wide open, and cutting back is the receiver, Lucas Mudge, and the big 33-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, well, I guess that's one way to do it. When Newport's not covering a guy, you probably should throw deep downfield to him. Run after run after run. Like I was just saying, they should go back to the run game up the middle. That was their strength. And I think Newport was probably thinking the same thing, and they forgot to cover the receiver. I mean, he was wide open, nobody near him, easy touchdown.
And that was an easy touchdown, and now Taylor looks like he is down at about the 40-yard line, so with 9:47 to go, with the extra point pending, we'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Cardinals going for 2 here after the touchdown, and the handoff goes off to the left side. I believe the ball carrier was Lemieux.
Tough to tell from this angle, but it doesn't look like he got there.
Did not get it, as the far ref says, so no good on the 2-point conversion. Now 0 for 3. And the lead stays at 18-13.
Another example of why it was a mistake for Newport to go for the 2-point conversion on their second touchdown.
Well, 18-13 here, a good drive to start for the Cardinals. Their opening drive of the touchdown, and you go back to that play wide open on the left side, and really the Tigers continued to sell out for the run, and that one, they really sold out. They didn't even cover the receivers.
Well, clearly they're not playing man-to-man defense for Newport, right? It was a zone-type coverage. It had to have been. And somebody clearly bid on the little slight play fake or whatever. There's a hole on the left side of the field bigger than the state of Texas.
And then
he's wide open, And
then smartly, Mudge was able to cut it back to the middle of the field and kind of outrun that defender to the goal line. So first score of the second half goes to the Cardinals, and they go back up top 18-13, and a nice kickoff there. It'll be returnable.
Good blocking here on this kickoff.
And number 32, Chesser, is going to cut it all the way back across the field to the far hash marks before he's tackled at the 39-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over on their first drive in the second half.
That's a third good return by Newport. And there was just, Newport just lined up man-to-man. Everybody took on their man. That was well-formed, excellent blocking on that return.
And we've seen Stevens kick it to the same spot every time.
Yeah, and Newport's taking advantage.
They take advantage of it, and Chesser kind of runs it up 5-10 yards, then cuts back to the middle of the field and kind of goes a little horizontal, but then scoots forward and
Newport
return.
Newport had the one issue with the fumble, which we talked about earlier, which I forgot for a second. But other than that, I mean, they've been outstanding and got an outstanding run here.
Yeah, that's number 26, Jagger Lovely, with a burst up the middle and a nice 13-yard gain right out of the gate. And Newport in business over the 50-yard line.
It's one of those two lovely twins we talked about pregame. A lot of speed there. Very good running backs. I think they're expected to probably carry this Newport offense, and you could see some serious burst there. Good job by the offensive line, again, as we've mentioned earlier.
And this team, as you mentioned, a lot of good talent, a lot of juniors. Quarterback Marius Edwards is a junior, Ryder Lovely, Jagger Lovely, the juniors, Josh Sharon, junior, Darshawn Chesser, a sophomore, Blake McKinney, a senior. But a lot of the key players are juniors, so put together a good season here, and they'll have another one next year.
Was that the 25 of Sharon there?
Could have been. I didn't see the ball carrier there, but another nice run.
A few fullback dives for him this game, and I mean, they're successful. I mean, this is a 4-yard gain on first down. That's nothing to complain about. I mean, that's what you're looking for. Get you in second and manageable.
Yeah, second and 6. Can get something there. A lot of plays are open here at the 44-yard line for the Tigers. As usual, Edwards under center. A run back up the left side and across the 40-yard line. Not quite to the first down marker, but another good 4 or 5 yards.
Mm-hmm. Now you got third and manageable here if you're Newport.
And the way you've been moving the ball, you got to imagine a two downs here, 4-down territory. As the inside the 40, you don't really have to worry about. If you do turn it over on downs, it's not that short of a field. It's still 40 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
60 yards to go.
This is definitely 2-down territory. There's no question about it. So if you're Newport, the way they've been running the ball, you keep it on the ground here for 2 plays in a row, and you can see Stevens stacking the box.
And they don't really do much on the defensive side, as Chesser looked like he got a little bit.
No, they stuffed him at the 40 there.
Looked like he was going to be a decent gain, and then he kind of got stuffed backwards, and that'll bring up 4th down and a couple of yards, it looks like.
So now if you're Newport, I said it was probably 2 run plays. But Stevens was so good on that first one. Now Newport's going to be thinking here, could we do a little play action, maybe a little gadget play, something to fool the Stevens defenses. They are putting everybody on the line of scrimmage. Just one safety back, everybody else stacking the box.
Everybody in the box here on 4th down. QB keeper Edwards shakes one tackler, and then he gets piled up at the line of scrimmage, and that's where it's going to be down. Turnover on downs, and the Tigers, after a nice couple of plays to open that drive, will turn it over on downs. That's the way the Cardinals will take over. 6:52 to play. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Turnover on downs, and Scott, as we talked about, we thought the Tigers might be able to get something going there as we see the Cardinals fall forward for a yard, but Tigers, couple tries up the middle, they couldn't get anything going.
They had a nice kick return. They had a nice couple first downs. I mean, they were moving the ball. It's just, they had a 3rd and short. Tough first play there on 3rd down. We knew they were going to go for it on 4th down. Unfortunately for them, Stevens is just playing super aggressive on defense. They stacked the box. Everybody on the line of scrimmage, except one safety. They were there to stop the run, and they did so.
So they'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Shotgun snap, and then the handoff. Running back loses his footing, regains it just enough to maybe get a yard. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Lemieux, they'll spot the ball just shy.
Yeah, and whether Lemieux kept his footing or not, Newport was there on the play. He wasn't going to gain much more than he did. Newport's kind of playing the same way Stevens is, daring him to pass the ball deep downfield. We'll see. Stevens has shown the ability.
Right, they have a little bit more in the tank.
They've taken a little more chances downfield. However, their offensive line is not held up for the quarterback. So, it could be risky. We've seen some interesting plays. The very first play of the game should have been picked off. And we got under pressure.
And Taylor able to get rid of it, but it's just overthrown. Alex Taylor couldn't go up and get it. So another play where looked like they might have something going, had the protection, had the opening, but Alex Taylor can't come up with it. He is able to get up, but he's going to limp off gingerly. I think they're going to get him off the field as he hops off, and that'll bring up 4th down, and the punt team coming out for the Cardinals.
We certainly hope Alex Taylor's okay. His hop skills there on one leg is very impressive, though. I don't think I could do that.
Well, I mean, that is a low bar, so...
that is true. That is true.
We'll leave that to the high school athletes. As the wind picks up here on 4th down. See if that punt is affected by the wind. First real gust we've had all night. It's been a pretty calm night. Nice night.
Cool night.
And the punt is away after it was almost botched on the snap, and then takes a little bit of a Stevens bounce.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't turn out too bad. I thought Newport had that one blocked. That was very fortunate by Stevens.
Stevens punts the ball. Newport will take over. 5:12 to play. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. 5:12 to play here in the third quarter. A scoreless third quarter so far. The Cardinals punting it away. Tigers will get their second chance after turning it over on downs. Good defensive hold the last time. And there'll be a run to the right side. Number 25, Sharon, gets to the sticks. Falls out of bounds.
Very, very similar defense we saw, in the last couple plays for Stevens. Everybody was up. They had one safety back. This time, fortunately for Newport, they were able to kick it around. And when you're in that situation on defense, you can see some big runs broken. And it looks like we, unfortunately, have an injury here.
So the Claremont trainer is getting a little bit of a workout here, running from one side, tending to Alex Taylor, and now over to a Tiger player, so we'll step aside on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Player walked off under his own power, so hopefully he's okay, and we will continue on here. It was a first down that the Tigers picked up, and we'll see if they can do something on this drive to regain the lead. Clock moving inside, 5 minutes to play here in the quarter, number 3. That handoff up the middle, an inside draw. Not only a couple yards, and then the pile moved forward. I'll see if they had stopped the momentum and forward progress. We'll see where they spot it.
So the way, I've mentioned a few times the way Stevens is kind of stacking the box with one safety back. Runs like that aren't going to work for Newport. With Stevens playing defense like this, you're going to have to do counters, you're going to have to do sweeps, get creative with your run plays, and try to get around the edge.
18-13 here in the third quarter. The Stevens Cardinals leading this one. 3:57 to play. Thanks to everyone for tuning in on Facebook. And it's 2nd down and 8. Back and forth game. Cardinals taking the lead on that last one. Nice play there by the outstretched receiver, just able to corral it.
Risky play there. Big time risky play. It was a forward pass, but that's close to a lateral, and if that's not caught and it's a lateral, you're in trouble there. Nice reception though. He got the most out of it. Got a few positive yards. Not exactly what they were looking for in that play. We got 3rd and long here.
Matthew Jones was the defender who almost was able to tip the pass, but he didn't quite get there. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 6. 3:18, 3:16 to go. 18-13 our score. The Cardinals leading this one. And the pitch on the right side. This one goes to Chesser. He's trying to get to the corner. He does. Gets to the line of scrimmage. Not to the first down marker, though. So it'll bring up 4th down for the Tigers.
This type of run play you expect Newport to do with the defense Stevens is bringing out there. Unfortunately, it didn't completely work out that time. Let's see if Newport punts this away or goes for it. The ball's near midfield here, so they have some options. We could see a fake even.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. Our YCN game next week features Middlebury visiting Hartford, always premiering Sundays at noon. It's like the punt unit out here for both teams. Edwards, the punter. And a couple deep returners for the Cardinals. And they do punt it away. Nice high punt. One bounce there, and then it'll be corralled by the Tigers' number 25, Josh Sharon. We'll keep it right here on this change of possession where Cardinals taking over at the 30-yard line. So, Scott, first half back and forth. Now this third quarter kind of slowed down a little bit on the offensive side. But still, these teams keeping it close. Newport punting and getting a stop. Stevens punting and getting a stop there. We'll see if the Cardinals can take advantage here.
I mean, yeah, we were 6-0 Cardinals against Newport here in the third quarter. The Cardinals obviously have a chance to go up more, but I mean, it's more of what we saw. It's not exactly as pretty. I mean, this is a rivalry game, hard nosed. It's not going to be easy to gain yards and score points. I mean, this is more of what I have expected.
So a shotgun snap to Taylor. He's back in there after the injury, but he is tackled by two Newport defenders.
Great job by Newport there.
Really snuffed that play out. Taylor, he's back after the injury. Maybe that affected his plant foot. He didn't really do anything of a burst, and he was quickly tackled at the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a yard.
Interesting by Stevens to call a quarterback draw on the first play after the injury by Taylor. Maybe they were seeing if he had it or not. You know, that could be a test for the coaches.
So we'll see what they do here with Taylor and McAllister lined up in the backfield. Man in motion, and they're going to give it to him on the jet sweep. They fake it, and they throw it to Alex Taylor.
He got it.
He's at the sticks, and it looks like they're going to give him the first down. He had it at the 42-yard line, and before he was tackled for a couple yards of a loss. But they will say forward progress and a first down.
I mean, so again, back to what I was saying, the coaches were probably testing Owen Taylor's leg out there to see what he had. Clearly it didn't look like he had the burst he had in the first half. So I think we see probably more passing and or handing the ball off to guys like McAllister. I don't think we're going to see so much scrambling here from Taylor as we did in the first half. I'd be very surprised.
So Taylor again in the shotgun formation. McAllister there, and big rush, set up that screenplay, but that was just overthrown. McAllister not happy with himself for missing that one. Once again, we've seen that screenplay. Stevens has called that a bunch, some successful, some not. That one falls incomplete.
I mean, I think that's the third one we've seen. One went for maybe 6 yards, but that's all they got from it. Newport sniffed it out pretty well tonight. And all of them, like the quarterback is getting pressure so fast. Like, if you're Stevens, if you're the offensive line, you're letting the D-line go by, yes? However, you have to chip them. You got to
give them at least a little bit, right?
You got to slow them down a little bit and make it look like you're blocking. They're not fooling them enough.
And there's a handoff to McAllister. He gets a nice run, and he's almost to the first down marker. So a good little handoff run there, and McAllister, big gainer across the 50-yard line. Looks like it'll bring up third down and a yard as we are approaching 30 seconds to play in this third quarter. A third quarter in which we haven't seen many points, only the 6 points as you alluded to earlier, Scott, for the Cardinals. They lead this one 18-13, and we'll see if they get off one more play here, 3rd and 1.
I expect to see a lot of McAllister here in the fourth quarter.
And three running backs.
Possibly this play, quite frankly.
3 running backs in the backfield. This one, not to McAllister, but they'll get the first down anyway. Lemieux is able to gain enough yardage to get the first down. The clock will stop momentarily to reset the chains, and then we'll start it back up, and that'll do it for the third quarter.
So they didn't give that ball to McAllister, but they used him to create the deception to get the ball to Lemieux and get the first down.
That's going to do it for 3 quarters here in Claremont, New Hampshire. The Cardinals lead the Tigers 18-13 on the YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. LaValley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, With no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. MJ Harrington & Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. Welcome back. YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Fourth quarter of action about to get underway here. If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch our YCN shows and games anytime on our website at ycnnow.com. So the Stevens Cardinals win quarter number 3. They go back up on top 18-13 as we start quarter number 4. And we'll see if it continues to be given to McAllister or if Alex Taylor, and he drops back to pass here. Corralled quickly, and he's tackled by 3 Tiger defenders.
I mean, you know, even on the screenplays, he's getting killed in backfield. This one kind of was a long developing play. It looked like he was trying to go deep. He has no chance whatsoever. Like you said, 3 Newport defenders on top of him instantly. This Stevens Cardinals line cannot hold up for these deep pass plays. They need to get the ball out quickly if they're going to pass.
Big 12-yard loss on that play, so that'll bring up 2nd down and 22 now. Got to be passing down here, but they are going to keep it on the ground, see if McAllister can maybe get a chunk play. He gets nothing. Nice defense by the Tigers, and now you're looking at it if you're the Cardinals, just try and keep the ball and punt it away.
Yeah.
Don't want to turn it over here.
Well, I mean, 2nd and 22, like, again,
not a lot of plays in the playbook.
You can't throw the ball downfield because you can't protect your quarterback. So, what are you really going to do? You got to play it conservative here. You got the ball near midfield. Just, do a couple running plays here. I'd be shocked if they didn't do another run play here and then just try to pin Newport back deep.
So 3rd down and 22. No gain there.
Let nobody throw.
Drops back, and he throws it right to the defender. Picked off by number 25, Josh Sharon, and he is going all the way to the house. Interception return for a touchdown.
There's a flag on the play. Not sure if that was for taunting, possibly. It was a strange flag.
Hey, that might be before. Hey, that Bill might be before.
So that one is going to be a big 40-plus yard interception return if it holds up.
If you're Stevens, this is what you just run the ball, punt it, and put Newport back. It's 3rd and 22. The odds of you getting a 1st down is extremely unlikely. There's no reason to call a pass play there, especially the way your offensive line's been holding up.
So that pass intercepted in the flat. Josh Sharon, the junior, called his name a lot, and that one is going to be a touchdown if it holds up. The ref is coming over here talking to Coach Paul Silva, trying to find out what he wants to do, accept it on the kickoff or the extra point. So I believe they're going to call it a touchdown. Let's get the call.
Touchdown on sportsmanlike conduct against Newport.
And it will be enforced on the kickoff. So the touchdown stands. Newport goes back up 19-18, and now they'll come out with the extra point kicking team.
I'd like to see that one again. I didn't see anything too unsportsmanlike. I don't know if he did a little high kick or something, but nothing deserving of a penalty, in my opinion, there. Very, very weak call.
So the kick is blocked, and the extra point is no good. The Tigers will keep the lead 19-18 after the big touchdown on the interception by Josh Sharon. Cardinals trail by 1, 19-18. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, 10:23 to play in the fourth quarter. The Tigers have just gone on top 19-18 thanks to a 42-yard interception return for a touchdown by Josh Sharon. And now the penalty on unsportsmanlike conduct will make the Tigers kick it off from the 25-yard line. And that kick is going to go out of bounds inside the 30.
Might as well kick it out of bounds there. They're going to get it at the 40.
Get it at the 40-yard line, and that's where the Cardinals will take over, trying to come back. Once again, this has been a back-and-forth game. What a great game we've had here in the annual Chamber Cup, alternating between Newport and Claremont this year. Obviously, here we are at Barnes Park under the lights, and an exciting contest so far.
Rivalry games are fun, aren't they? There's a lot to talk about that play there at the end of the half. Or not, the end of the last drive. It's 3rd and 22. Why are you passing? You're not going to get a first down. Play it conservative and punt it. Pin Newport back deep. Secondly, I still don't quite understand the penalty call.
And we got another penalty call on the field. That's going to go against the Tigers. I didn't quite pick it up what that one was.
Not anything in play here.
And that ball is going to be spotted. I believe that's the 50-yard line where the ball will be. So a 10-yard penalty on top of the out of bounds on the kickoff, which is at the 40. So half the field already taken away, and the Stevens Cardinals now short field to start on this one. And the direct snap to McAllister. He's going to fake the throw, and then he'll be swarmed, and that'll be tackled for a loss. Again, maybe 3 yards, second down.
This pass rush of Newport is impressive. I mean, Taylor has not had a single second to go and scan the field and look for his receivers and find who's open. I mean, he is getting hit instantly. Very impressive by Newport's defense here so far.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Mascoma Savings Bank, mutually owned with no shareholders to please. If you want your local game, event, parade, or concert televised into YCN's over 300,000 households, contact us at info@ycnnow.com. Another shotgun snap, a fake handoff, then they give it to McAllister. A big hole along the right side, and another big gain. Gets almost all of it back, but it'll bring up third down and a short 4 yards.
I mean, Keegan McAllister's been their guy. I mean, they need to stick with him here. I think they need to pound him on the ground and see what happens here. We got a 1-point game. Claremont, a.k.a. Stevens. I keep saying Claremont. It is Claremont. But Keegan McAllister, though, has been moving the ball better than anything else they've been doing on offense. And here they go to him.
Yeah, he'll get it again, goes up the middle, and he'll be short of the first down marker. A little shoving after the play, but we'll get that broken up pretty quickly, and that'll bring up 4th down and 1, and obviously time to go for it. And if you're the Tigers, you do have that advantage defensively. You know Cardinals aren't going to kick a field goal, even if they get closer. Obviously, they're not going to kick one here, but as they even get closer, even though it's a 1-point game, you haven't seen their kicker at all. So that's kind of something in the back of your mind if you're Newport.
Absolutely. You know they're going for it. It's 4-down territory every time they get over midfield. And back to Keegan McAllister, like Stevens has made so many mental blunders here, whether it be the end of the first half or in the second half, giving Newport chances. Just put the ball on the ground here. Let's do it old school. They need to clean it up for sure.
We'll keep it right here. 8:12 to play. The YCN scoreboard sponsor is LaValley Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Our next YCN game pits the Tigers of Middlebury, hosted by the Hurricanes of Hartford. And Scott, that'll be next week. That'll be a good contest up White River Junction area, and Friday nights there in Hartford. We've seen some good games there. The Hurricanes, they're trying to get things going. So that'll be an exciting one. We were in Vermont last week. It wasn't quite the game we were looking for. It was Windsor and Brattleboro, but this one has plenty made up for it.
This is the first game of the week that's been the game of the week so far. These things happen. I can't wait to be up there and under the lights. Hopefully we got another barn burner.
Yeah, always a good atmosphere in these local high school games. A lot of them in the area coming up, so check the local listings. Check our website, YCNnow.com. Thanks to all our Facebook Live viewers. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, we will try to do this every game, Friday or Saturday.
Wonderful
check it
crowd
out.
Tonight, too.
Big crowd. And a little false start, but the Newport player jumped. Did he make him? And they're going to call a false start on the Cardinals.
Yeah, it looked like the movement happened before the Newport jump there.
So that'll be a 5-yard.
Yeah, I think that's a good call by the refs. And on 4th down, now rather than 4th and 1, now you got 4th and 6. Stevens, more mistakes, just mental mistakes killing him.
We'll see what they come up with here as coming into the game, Pascal Lemieux, Hunter Christian, the sophomore, he'll step out, and Alex Taylor running back into the huddle, still a little gingerly, as you can see him kind of favoring that ankle. So as you see him walking, he's definitely still hurting a little.
He's certainly a weapon too. I mean, we got another flag.
Delay of game on the Cardinals.
Boy, has this game slowed down, Jeremy.
And, you know, if you're the Cardinals, you've got to punt this now, I think. Your defense has played well enough to pin them deep and get the ball back. There's plenty of time, 8-12 to play.
And it's 4th and 11 at midfield. 100% you're punting this football, trying to pin them back. You can't go for this, and you see their QB coming off the field. Again, Taylor limping.
Yeah,
we hope he's okay for future games. I mean, he does not look good.
Yeah, their punter Braxton LeBlanc, he comes in, and so they will clearly be punting this one. And we've got back for the Tigers, number 7, who was also injured, Bryce Willie. He is back deep to return the punt.
Good
gets
punt.
Away. Yeah, very nice punt, spiral
they
punt.
Let it go. I think that's a mistake.
And the Cardinals will down this thing inside the 1-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over the football when we come back on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. After the punt and the timeout, we are ready for action. Newport deep inside their own territory, and the handoff immediately to the running back, who is tackled. Yeah, and it's going to be a tough one out of their own end.
You're kind of forced to be conservative down here. As far as Stevens goes, this is why on that 3rd and 22, they should have played it conservative. I mean, that punt was excellent. They pinned Newport down at the 2. Instead, they gave them 6 free points. So, you know, obviously Stevens is in a great position here. But, you know, mistakes earlier, we'll see. I mean, they made a lot of them so far, so they do add up.
But they got to come through here. 2nd down and 9. Clock moving inside 7:30. And this one's again to the running back. Has a little bit of a hole, maybe up to the 5-yard line, maybe the 4 at least, maybe some breathing room.
Yeah.
But good defense by the Cardinals.
Newport's just trying to get as much breathing room for their punter as they possibly can at this point. Trying to hang in there and survive. It would be risky to call a pass here. You know, they haven't done much passing so far. I don't think they're very confident in their pass game. So, I mean, you know, let's just play it conservative, get the ball out toward midfield, hopefully, and, you know, play some good D like they have been.
Stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. We'll choose the team member that had the greatest impact on today's game.
Timeout Newport, it looks like.
So Newport is really struggling to come up with something here because they've called a timeout after the punt, and then they call a timeout right there after running 2 plays, and with 6:36 to play, this really, you know, you want to get it right. You don't want to get a safety. You don't want to give anything up, but you got to have something in your arsenal where you can just call a draw play and then punt it.
I mean, this is a 1-point game. There's not, you know, there's 6:36 on the clock. This isn't exactly a game you want to waste timeouts on. So I think it's a mistake for Newport. I mean, like I was saying, I would just run the ball here, try to get as much room as you can for your punter, get it out of there, and then your defense, which has been stellar all night, have them make the plays.
So we'll see as the Cardinals come out of the huddle, off the timeout, see what they've come up with in their defensive play calling. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 or 7 yards. Newport under center. 1 running back in the backfield, and they're going to pass it. Edwards passes it to his open receiver. Gets free, and he'll have enough for the 1st down. Number 25, Josh Sharon.
Gutsy play call right there. Gutsy play call. John Proper not scared, clearly. to trust in his quarterback.
Wow.
Edwards just put it in there perfectly. I mean,
just over the defender.
Yeah, it was a perfect play. They just got the first down. It was a perfect run route. I mean, very, very, very nicely done.
So that'll extend this drive, moving the chains, keeping the clock moving as we approach the halfway mark of the quarter. 6 minutes to play, and this one will be handed off. And then after taking a couple bruising hits, the ball carrier is finally brought down. That's Sharon again. No, excuse me, that's Lovely there, number 26, Jagger Lovely. And that'll be 2nd down and 7. But you got to imagine, if you're the Tigers now, you are trying to keep this clock moving, take as much time as you can in between plays.
I mean, there is enough field left to kill the clock. There's still a lot of clock left, though. I mean, I think Newport probably has to score if they want to seal the deal here. Otherwise, I mean, I would assume Stevens is at least going to have another chance.
So the pitch there, going off to the left side, and the ball carrier is immediately met by a defender. Chesser goes nowhere. And that'll bring up 3rd down. Big tackle by the Cardinals defense.
So on the last play there, the last 3rd down, they made an aggressive pass play. Let's see what they do here. Something they haven't done a lot tonight. I mean, it looked like it caught Stevens off guard. So, you know, we'll see if Coach Proper continues to be aggressive.
3rd and 8.
It's winning time, Jeremy. It's winning time.
They get Edwards under center, one running back behind him, and they hand it off. The ball is secured by one of the running backs. Didn't quite see who grabbed it.
Didn't look
Sharon.
clean
No,
to
it
begin
didn't.
with. It got nothing as far as yardage, and Newport's going to have to punt this.
So they'll have to punt it away on 4th down, and the clock will move. We'll be inside 4 minutes by the time Cardinals get the ball, but they'll have pretty good field position, you got to imagine.
The scoreboard doesn't show timeouts, but I believe Stevens has all 3, if I'm not mistaken.
They have at least
I know
2 of them.
Newport has called 2.
So clock running down here. Newport trying to milk it as much as they can, and they might have milked it a little too much. Penalty. No, they're going to be an illegal shift or illegal substitution for the Tigers. They'll knock them back 5 yards and stops the clock. 3:55 to play.
Bit of an odd penalty for a punt.
And they'll wind the clock back up. Now, is that they get a reset on the play clock?
Newport would, I believe, yeah. It's a penalty. It's going to start over at probably 25.
High snap, but he corrals it, and a nice punt. Spiral punt. Fair catch called for and corralled at the 45-yard line. But a short field for the Cardinals when we come back with 3:45 to play in the 4th quarter. Tigers leading this one 19-18. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. 1st and 10, Cardinals. Fakes the handoff to the first man. 2nd man gets it, and he falls forward back to the line of scrimmage, and that's McAllister nowhere. And this is make it or break it here. You got to imagine for the Cardinals, that clock's moving. If you don't get it here, you're probably not getting the ball back.
I mean, they have timeouts, but they are a run-first offense, which takes a lot of clock off. That particular play there, I mean, we've seen that motion a few times where they fake the sweep. They haven't really done the sweep, though. They keep going to McAllister, so I think Newport's kind of just zoning in on the Cardinals' star player, Keegan McAllister.
And Taylor gets hit as he goes back to Bowles, loses the fumble,
fumbled
and picked up on the ground and run into the end zone. Number 81, Devin Haino.
No flags on the play.
No flags on the play. That one was brought back 38 yards. Taylor with the fumble. Haino with the touchdown inside 3 minutes. That could have just put this one away for the Tigers.
Owen Taylor looks a bit dejected coming off the field. He shouldn't. It's not his fault. I mean, there's just no time for the guy to throw. I mean, he's got a bum leg out there. Newport's pressure has just been unbelievable tonight. I mean, they are blitzing left and right and making stuff happen with their defense. Second defensive score of the night for Newport.
So now going for the extra point to try and make it an 8-point game, and the kick is up. It looks good from here. It is 26-18. The Cardinals now trail by 8 with 2:58 to play in this one. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, 2:58 to play in this one, and the Tigers have just extended their lead to 8 points, 26-18 over the Cardinals on the big 38-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. And McAllister catches this one. He's got a seam. He tries to get his burst, and the ball is loose. Newport says they have it. No signal yet. But it is going to be, I believe, Newport football.
I mean, this Newport defense and special teams tonight has been on top of their game. I mean, they're the difference makers. They have both touchdowns here in the second half.
So the fumble on the kickoff, and it is Newport football.
Still time here for Stevens to stop Newport and get the ball back. Like we mentioned, they have timeouts. 2:51 on the clock. I mean, they can get the ball back here, but they cannot allow a first down here. They have to stop Newport and stop them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and you don't have a two-minute warning, obviously, in the high school game. So basically, even with your 3 timeouts, if Newport gets a first down, it could be over. Unless it's right here, then you might have a chance, as that first play goes for no gain. And we'll see what Coach Paul Silva elects to do. He's going to let them run this one out. Probably what he'll try to do is maybe get a stop here. And if he gets a stop here on second down, and it's 3rd and 5 or 6, he takes one then.
No, I completely agree with letting the clock wind down here and save your timeouts. I mean, you take them when you have to take them. If you take one too early, you have the potential on the end of the game to waste a lot of clock that you wouldn't have to otherwise.
Well, and if they give up a first down here, but they've already used one of their timeouts, then they really have no
then
chance.
It's definitely game over at
so
that
you're going to make
100%.
2 stops, and the quarterback keeps it. Edwards stiff arms a couple defenders. He's falling forward. He's dragging the pile, and he's going to be tackled inbounds. Couple of yards on the gain, but it'll bring up 3rd down and 5, and this is where they will take their first timeout with 1:50 to play.
Solid gain there. He stayed inbounds, which was very smart and made Stevens use that timeout. Here we are. I mean, this is the game. Like, there's no way Newport goes for it on 4th down here. I don't think in any situation, any yardage, I'd be shocked. With the way the clock sits, no matter what, you're punting it and trying to pin them back as deep as you can, don't you think?
Well, I wouldn't say with no scenario, because if it's 4th and 1, do you want to bring your special teams team on and muff a punt or something like that? Because we got to remember, this isn't the pros where punting is easy.
That's fair enough.
But you're right. For the most part, unless it's like maybe 4th and 1 yard, you don't do that. But you're right. If it's 4th and 2, 3, or 4, then you probably punt it and you just bring like max protection for the punter back, so in case he does muff it, at least all he does has to fall on it, because that's the last thing you want is something returned for a touchdown.
Seen some punting mistakes and bad snaps so far on the YCN Game of the Week, so it's
possible.
It is possible.
That handoff will be off the left side, and breaking free for what looks to be a first down.
That is close.
Jagger Lovely. Is that going to be enough?
I believe it is.
This center referee saying 4th down.
4th down.
He's holding the 4th down.
That spot. Yeah, that spot's pretty short.
So they're going to stop.
Well, here you go. Here's your 4th and 1.
Right.
So let's see what Newport decides.
And you've got to remember now, once they measure, they'll have to start the clock back up again with 1:45 to play. So and wonder if they'll take a timeout.
We don't know exactly the timeout situation. I think that there's, 2 left for Stevens.
Should have 2, and this one's going to be short.
And this is definitely going to be short. A minute 45 left.
Well, you see, I would imagine Stevens takes a timeout here, I guess, because there's no point in saving it, because if you get the first down...
There is a point in saving it, though. If you stop them here, I mean, they're a run-heavy team, right? They're not having big chunk plays going down the field. You might need that timeout to go down and score a touchdown.
Right. But if you have a minute, if you only have, 35 less seconds, then it couldn't matter. Well, see what Newport's going to do here. Edwards gets up to the line. He's going to sneak it. Looks like he has enough as long as he holds on to the football.
Oh, he definitely has enough.
And he gets enough with that final push, gets to the 30-yard line and a first down, and this one could be over. So 1:23 to play. Clock's moving. Not really anything the Cardinals can do now as they have only 2 timeouts left. Sometimes you see them take the timeout and hope for a bubble snap, something to happen. Like we talked about, it's high school, things happen. But it looks like Coach Silva is going to elect to just let the clock run, assuming he has timeouts. I believe he has 1 or 2 timeouts left, so he's not going to take it.
It's iffy. The bottom line is, though, nicely done by Newport on that last play.
Flag on the field.
Yeah, flags, delay a game probably. They let the clock run down as far as they possibly could.
Yeah, so
they don't have any intention of going for a first down here. They are trying to kill as much clock as they possibly can and walk out of here with what is going to be a very impressive victory.
Very exciting win, very impressive victory as we talked about over the years. It's been up and down, back and forth. The Tigers should get out of here with the win, and they will travel to Campbell, play Campbell next week. And for the Cardinals, they will travel up to Interlakes, Moultonborough, and try and get back on the winning way with 40 seconds to go. Stoppage on the field.
So after last week's game for Newport against Lebanon, where they kind of got embarrassed. I mean, seriously, 49-6. It's not a competitive game. They didn't put any effort into it whatsoever. They come out here against a good Claremont team who played well in week 1, and it looks like they have the victory pretty much sealed here at this point. What a bounce back for Newport.
Good bounce back, and a lot of fans. Obviously a close game proximity-wise. So a lot of Newport people coming over to watch this one, and the Chamber Cup will go back to the Tigers. And both of these teams now have won on the opposing field the last 2 years, and that last kneel down might just about do it. Players running off the field, and 30 seconds to play here.
Referee looks like he's interested in another snap, but the players don't seem so interested. We'll see what they do. But as far as the Chamber Cup goes, good for Newport. It's been a back-and-forth rivalry, very close. I mean, every game between these two teams is excellent and tight, and we had another one here tonight.
So that's going to do it. No more snapping of the football. The clock winds down. 000 on the scoreboard. And the final score here from Claremont. The Newport Tigers defeat the Stevens Cardinals 26-18. We'll take a break and come back and award the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game for the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Final score here, 26-18. The Newport Tigers defeat the Stevens Cardinals. And Scott, a good game. Let's first get to our HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Player of the Game, and then we'll get to some of the analysis. Who do we have to win that award?
I'm giving Josh Sharon the Player of the Game. I mean, he had the huge pick 6, which basically won the game for Newport. It sealed the deal. I mean, what a game.
Exciting game. So Josh Sharon is the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. So going back to this team, both these teams back and forth. We didn't know what to expect of teams both coming off of tough outings. Well, Newport the tough outing, Stevens the big win. But they brought it all tonight. Excitement.
I mean, on paper, if you looked at the way the first 2 games went for Newport and Stevens, it looked like Stevens would probably come in here and kick some butt. However, this is a rivalry game. This game is close every single time these two teams play each other. and it didn't let down. It was a battle that came right down to the end.
And they are awarding the Chamber Trophy, the Chamber Cup behind us. It's the Newport Chamber of Commerce and the Claremont Chamber of Commerce. So that's gone back and forth. Obviously, Stevens last year, Newport this year. Exciting game. I mean, we finally got one of our games of the week. It was an exciting one.
Absolutely. I mean, the Chamber Cup here has been back and forth for several years. I mean, it's been very close. Newport had a run where they dominated for many years, but the last several years it's been very even despite the divisions, despite everything, and that's just part of the rivalry. Like,
right.
It doesn't matter what they're ranked; they're just so passionate about playing each other. It was a fun game to watch tonight.
It was. So the final score for the final time, Newport 26, Stevens 18. Next week we will be in Hartford. Hartford versus Middlebury for Scott Quimby. I'm Jeremy Stout. Thanks for watching the YCN Game of the Week.